Hello and welcome to our special series, The World of Commodities. Today we are talking about forward trading in commodities, where hundreds of contracts are trading and thousands of tons of deliveries has been done. It still is a new kid on the block, and while it has done well for itself, there still are lots that needs to be done in sense of awareness and thus participation. Joining us on the show are Suresh Devnani, Head of Business Development, NCDEX; D.K. Agarwal, National President, CPAI; Yogender Alag is an economist; Vinod Chaturvedi is MD, Ashar Agro. Ajay Jakar is Chairman, Bharat Krishak Samaj. Pradeep Dongre is President, IPGA. Let's start with you, Suresh. And how well has the forward trading picked up according to you as an exchange? And how would you rank it with the kind of inroads that it has made into the market?
Manisha, forwards trading on regulated platforms is a very new concept. Every new concept we've seen in the past takes a little bit of time, but we are happy that many of the commodities that we've introduced have already started seeing trades. We've seen interest. There are regular quotes on the screen. So there's a widespread interest in the commodities. We've launched it phase-wise. We launched with 2 commodities in the month of September, and gradually now we've increased the basket to 26. So we see a fair bit of interest, and a lot of trading has already happened. More than 6,000 tons have already been traded. The interest can be gauged from the type of memberships also that we are getting. We've seen a very unique set of participants like the FPOs, which are primarily the set of people we would want to see coming forward and trading on the forwards.
So having said that, Suresh, according to the data and research that you have in hand, do you see forward markets link the spot and the future sector well?
Yes, I would want to say that. If we go back into history and see how the markets have developed, the commodity markets have developed in India. Interestingly, the forwards, the futures were launched first on a national platform. The futures derivatives were first launched. Whereas for a very ideal growth, there should be a national market for the spot underlying, and on the basis of which the futures can have a very healthy growth. But here we had futures being launched in the year 2003, and gradually then we introduced the spot exchanges, which are working on making the spot markets more efficient. And finally we have got approvals for these forwards, which are being offered for trade on the futures platform. So in a very regulated environment they are being offered, and they attract a very unique and separate set of participants. And they play this role of integrating the spot as well as the futures, definitely.
Dr. Alag, would you say that the price discovery is thus more accurate?
There is not that much of an understanding amongst the growers. I think they're increasingly understanding the working of forward markets. There is still some hangover of this business that, Satta is speculating and things of that kind. The fact that you get market signals, the fact that basically such markets are of a stabilizing kind is not that well understood. In fact, I don't think even the regulators properly bring that out. There is, let's think about it this way, all this talk of thin markets. That's a fact that some of these commodity markets in out-of-the-way centers are of a thin kind. Now the answer there is to solve that problem. It's not that you take that and then make an argument against price discovery of a medium term or a long term nature.
Mr. Agarwal, what has been your experience? As Suresh says, it has been a delayed entry, but does it seem to be a better way of price discovery and delivery?
These exchange traded forwards are really going to help the small growers who can use the farmers producer organizations who act as an aggregator, and they carry out the trades on their behalf in the forward contract. So the risk of the counterparty default is really gets mitigated. And why it gets mitigated? Because the exchange is collecting margins from both the counterparties, and there is a surveillance mechanism, there is a risk management which is happening. They are collecting additional margins when the market becomes more volatile. So all these things are really going to benefit the agriculture value chain as such.
Ajay, you come with a lot of experience when it comes to farmers. What's your view on the forward markets trading in the agro space, and what would you say on how far have we gone on the ground level?
Futures trading in agriculture commodities is a very good idea, but let's be realistic on it and see that most of India is unaware of what futures trading is. Most of India. For example, my village is on the border with Pakistan. If I was to travel by car from my village to, let's say, Bombay, which is nearly 2,000 kilometers from my village, I can guarantee you not more than 0.5%, I mean, that is even a very high figure, not more than 0.5% of the people would have heard about futures trading, forget use futures trading. But that is not to say that change is not happening. You have organizations like Star Agri. I've seen their operations in Ganganagar. I've seen their operations other way. There are pockets of sunshine where change is happening, where people will take their goods to a warehouse and they will get receipts out of it. So warehouse receipt system has started to work, and these are the people who might use the system of futures trading to hedge their bets or to decide what crops they grow. But at the end of the day, we must understand we are very far from our objectives. We could be decades from our objectives, especially the way the awareness building exercise amongst the farming community of this is happening. We're way, way off. And I think so the regulators and the exchanges need to do much, much more than what they are doing. And they should not always look for incentives from the government to what they are doing. It's a business that they are into, and it's a business they need to invest in for awareness building.
Suresh, as Ajay pointed out, the sector faces a lot of challenges. The awareness is very low on the ground level. How do you then, as an exchange, look to tackle that?
The challenges are real. The challenges for us to face and see what best can be done. Yes, the information unavailability at the ground level and the knowledge empowerment will have to be tackled with by a spate of programs, by us, by the broking fraternity, by the NGOs, by media personnel like you, because the farther is the reach that we have, more is the benefit that we will be able to see out of these innovative products that we are regularly launching. Though they have a huge purpose to play, but if till the time they are not being utilized by the people whom they are meant for, I think the purpose will not be completely fulfilled. So a great challenge is there. We have to keep on spreading awareness. We have to move step by step, see to it that newer participants are added gradually in each and every commodity. And finally, there is a tipping point from where if the model is successful, then there are hordes of people who want to get attached, then they keep chasing you. And these success stories have to be very gradually and slowly built. And so that's what we are trying to do, gradually increase the membership base, increase the awareness by the spate of awareness programs that we are doing separately along with FMC, along with our member fraternity. And that's how we are trying to reach out to the markets and increase awareness.
Mr. Agarwal, as we have achieved till time that there is a lot left to achieve in the sector, but the tone of the government seems positive towards the sector. Do you see more coming in from them then in sense of policies and reforms?
What I would say, with the industry body, there has to be joint seminars, and even formal even emailers can be sent to the industry, various corporates, SMEs, the advantages which are available by using this NCDEX platform for doing forward trades. I think they have to be demonstrated by way of examples. So these are the things which need to be done, and awareness has to be created.
All right, so our experts feel that the forward trading has been a good step, is making inroads, but there's a lot yet that needs to be done. With that, let's go for a short break. When we come back on the other side, we will talk about the challenges that this space now faces. Welcome back, and we are discussing the forward trading in commodities. Let's now talk about the various traders and companies on how they are using this platform and what challenges do they face and what can be corrected. Mr. Dongre, getting you in the conversation, how do you look at the commodity derivatives now spreading its wings, especially the availability of more pulses that are available in the forward space? Would you say it's a brilliant opportunity to avail?
Yes, I think it's a brilliant opportunity. I think it is the need of the hour. I think markets need to become efficient, and this will certainly make the spot markets and the forward markets more transparent. It will make the entire supply chain transparent and make it efficient, and the price discovery process will be very, very efficient. So it's totally in the interests of all the participants in the entire supply chain, be it millers, be it farmers, be it importers, be it traders. So this efficiency is the need of the hour, and it gels well with the futures market, because even the price discovery on the spot market with this kind of forward visibility available will certainly improve.
Suresh, well, that's the plus and the minus of the trade, as our experts are pointing out. But let's look at the positives first. And would you say that the pulses trading in forwards is a savior, as in futures only chana is traded, while here you have urad, tur, peas, all of them available?
Definitely it can pick up because these markets, these products that you mentioned have a huge market. They have a huge underlying market. There is a need for such products to be introduced. And the government, the FMC, has reposed faith. They have seen our handling of commodities, and gradually they have introduced urad and tur back onto the forwards platform. So we are sure we will live up to the confidence that has been shown on us. And these commodities will see very vibrant trading. The benefits will be accrued by the marketplace, and we'll see the potential that it holds. I mean, there is a lot which can be traded today, a very limited products. So it like chana is seeing very vibrant trading, but urad and tur have always been traders' fancy. And when it is being introduced into futures, if it is successfully handled, and if we see good participation in the forwards, maybe we'll see the reintroduction of these commodities on futures as well. So in a way, the forwards and futures definitely complement each other. Success of one will rub off to the other, and the benefits of one will definitely see a positive impact on the other platform also.
Mr. Chaturvedi, as a company, what's your sense on the forward trading, especially pulses, and how well does it serve your purpose? What would you want from this?
See, it is a very irony and a paradoxical situation that we are up against. If you analyze the agro commodity, why India is among the top 2 countries worldwide in 8 out of the 15 agro commodities. Okay, but government is not acting as proactively as it should have, and make this a vibrant. Truly speaking, I am a very firm conviction. I have said it various forums repeatedly that India is in an advantageous position to emerge as the world food factory. So all these agri products, government should focus and encourage the participation of the wider stakeholders. Well, you look any agri commodity, the participants are too meager.
Mr. Dongre, what according to you is the big positive that the forward trading in pulses has come out with, and what would you want corrected as well in this space?
Well, in general, the budget, yes, is a progressive budget. For the common man, there is a lot of changes which have been brought in. He has access to medical insurance. He has access to life insurance. On the corporate side, very clearly, the Modi's vision and his dream is being put into action by, firstly, by reduction of the corporate tax from 34% to 25%, which is a clear signal to the Indian corporates and the international world that the government is very determined to back the growth story that the Modi government has been professing for so long. So it's a very clear indication in the right direction, and they've also set roadmaps for it. It's not just a promise. On the infrastructure side, there are infrastructure bonds and government bonds which are coming in, which also tell you the commitment of the government to develop infrastructure. On the agricultural side, there is a fair amount of talk Even the post-budget comments of Mr. Modi tells us about his interest in increasing the contribution of agriculture in the overall GDP of the country, making farming efficient. And this unified market concept, which though it's still in a conceptual stage, I think will very quickly come into reality. And once this does come into reality, this will be really the game changer.
Dr. Alak, that's all about the challenges and what the exchange could do. But as a regulator and the government as well, would you say that they need to be sensitized to make it more credible sector?
I think it's largely an awareness question. I don't think we have done enough of education of the fact that markets, particularly futures, properly regulated. But about 3 to 4 decades ago, the Reserve Bank was building up the money markets. I mean, when I left college or in my early days of teaching in the IIMs, we used to talk about that, the role of the central bank in building money markets. Now it's something like that. I mean, those things are now past. I mean, bill markets and whatever, they are all pretty common now. But the forwards, they are still sort of seen as a very esoteric kind of thing. People don't really see them. The actors see them by way of making money, although there is now an increasing number of industrial participants who do this basically in terms of hedging price risk for manufacturing activity. I think that acts as a big stabilizing role, and it's now becoming much larger than earlier.
So clearly a lot needs to be done by the exchange and the regulator, but on the other side of this short break, we will talk on what policies can help the cause. Welcome back, and let's now talk about the difference that the government policies can make on this sector. Ajay, what policy or reforms are needed now in this sector? While we do hear so much about the need for development in agriculture and incentives and waivers for the farmers, would you say enough is not being done yet in this direction?
We are the initial stages of a change that is happening. But we should not be under any misconception that the change is going to happen very fast. It's going to take time, and we should give it time to evolve over time. So in the sense, I'm saying we are on the right track, but it's not going to be the game changer that I believe you are trying to make me say that it's going to be the game changer. It's not going to be that great game changer.
Mr. Agarwal, what's your own sense? The tone of the government seems positive, as we all have seen during the budget as well. What are your expectations from what has come in from the government? How can that be put to best use?
We would be in a position to, introduce all these contracts, introduce, option contracts, and they will have the power to, permit larger players. So if this is done either way, this is really going to help this market. And above all, I believe that, larger players are not participating in commodities market because there are less power to the regulator. Once we have more power given to the regulator, I think larger players who are right now not participating in this commodities future market, they would come in a big way, and that would really help in the development of commodities market.
Mr. Chaturvedi, as a company, what do you think there needs to be further done here to strengthen it?
Warehousing receipts are not a negotiable instrument. This is a long pending demand from all these stakeholders, but yet it has not been you can say given a legal framework. So if that happens, that will give some very, very good support. It will increase the capacity of the producer, that is farmer, to hold the goods in the warehouse, because then he will have the cheaper funds available, because the warehouse receipt is transferable and negotiable. He can raise the funds and hold on to the stock until the price becomes correct or stable. But this long pending demand is still not yet addressed.
Mr. Dongre, it still is a growing market, and we have seen reforms proposed in the budget for spot and the futures market. The forward is growing too, as well, as you put that point across before. Would you say that while we are in a sweet spot, we just need that one strong push to be able to capitalize on this?
Well, there are proposals, and I think the most important of the proposals is the unified market. and a unified market will completely revolutionize this the agricultural trade in this country. It will make price completely transparent, make markets efficient, and get investment into this sector. There will be foreign investment, there will be domestic investment, and this is the need of the hour. We do not have 10 APMCs or 30 APMCs. This country has 1,000 markets, and these markets have different kinds of taxes and levies in them, which are not transparent at all. So once you have a unified market system and you have a forward contract as offered, these things will make the market transparent, make the market seamless, remove all barriers, and I think that is what is the need of the hour. You need a standard quality, a standard contract, and once this is in place, then be it the buyers or the farmers, they can get a real-time price for their produce.
Suresh, one big positive that we heard from the budget this time was the government announcement of National Agriculture Market. Now, that is seen as a big announcement. And how would that help in bigger scheme of things when we talk about commodities trading?
I think those things are already evident because the government has shown a bit of urgency. They have already taken a note of the need for a unified marketplace. The same has found a mention in the economic survey as well. So definitely from the government side, the attention is on this very strong unified market, which will help grow, because finally the government is interested, and we as a nation should be interested, that the farmers should get a right price for their produce. Today what is happening is, since all the farmers are scattered, the prices that they are getting is more from the panic selling, because they come to bring the produce and they have to necessarily sell it off, otherwise it will rot and they won't get the price. So they are selling it off in a panic manner. Today, if they are given access to a larger marketplace, if they are able to give their produce to a larger audience, I think definitely the better price realization they will be able to get. Once they get a better price realization, the same will go into better inputs, the farm equipment and the fertilizer, whatever goes, and that will in turn increase the produce. So what products we have launched, I think they will help them get a better realization. And government definitely in a way can do their bit by partnering, as we have seen in the spot exchange of ours. Karnataka government has joined hands with us. We've made a 50-50 joint venture, and now almost 50% of the mandis are already a part of this single licensing entity, and they have created a unified marketplace. So similarly, if such a model is adopted by various states, I think we can see the benefits of that percolated down below to the farmers very fast.
Okay, so that's the view then coming in from our esteemed panelists. Forward trading is a good concept, will lead to betterment of the commodity markets overall, but needs more awareness and participation and a policy push for it to get there. With that, we thank our panelists for their views and time, and thank you so much for watching.